Dude, I can't forget. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. What's up, guys? Thank you for watching another video today. If you remember from the last video, we finally got the Eclipse back in our possession. Today's video, we're actually just gonna focus on putting the engine, the EVOS engine back together, painting the oil pan black, putting all the sensors on, all the lines, and like the intake manifold. And we're also gonna try to get a lot of the parts back onto the car, like the brake booster, master cylinder, the brake line, stuff like that. Just try to get as far as possible and make some progress. Carlos actually came through, and he got a DSM as well, so he's gonna be working on this little by little. It's an RS, right? Yeah, it is an RS. Yeah, so he already has like a lip on it, but you know, it's progress. It's where you start off, so let's get started on this and see how far we get. Alright, so we flipped the engine. We're gonna go ahead and pretty much sand this down and paint it black, and of course cover all this up so it doesn't get overspray. We got this thing all covered up, this thing sanded down, and I also started hitting this part with purple power because we are going to be scrubbing it down and try to get it as clean as possible. But I'm going to go ahead and start painting this, and I'll get back to you guys once it's done right now. Alright, so the oil pan is finished. I also scrubbed this down, and Carlos went ahead and put the intake manifold back together. So now we're actually just going to go ahead and flip the engine back over, start putting all the parts like the intake manifold, the alternator, the thermostat housing, the CAS, and then get it ready to put on the stand so we could actually put the rear main seal on and the clutch and flywheel. Now we're actually going to move over to the back with the intake manifold and then have that all on there. And then we'll probably move on to the thermostat housing and the CAS over here. Alright, so we actually put a little bit of gasket maker on the intake manifold just to be safe. There you go. Alright, so the intake manifold is on. So we're actually going to move over to the thermostat. We already put some gasket maker on. We just got to put the bolts on it. And then we'll move over to the CAS. I am painting the cover though, because that thing was like super rusty. So that's almost done. And then we'll put that on. Alright, so intake manifold's on, thermostat housing's on, CAS is on. Now we're going to go ahead and get the hoist on it, and then go ahead and do the rear main seal, because we don't have any access to it right here. Then go ahead and install the flywheel and clutch on and see how it looks. Chain is on. Bring it in. Alright, we got the engine on there. We just gotta get this out. Okay. Alright, cool. So now that the engine's out, we're actually gonna move towards the rear main seal here. Alright, so in order to change out the rear main seal, you have to remove all these 10mm bolts. There's two also right here, right by the oil pan. After that, when you remove it, you clean out the air. You have to be careful so you don't drop anything into the oil pan here. And then once you have the casing removed, then you go ahead and remove the old one, put the new one back in. We're going to use gasket maker and then assemble it back together so that way we didn't have any leaks. If you guys remember, my last clutch was slipping because it was actually leaking for the rear main seal, and it caused slippage in the clutch. So we got to make sure this is done right. So we're going to start by removing these bolts real quick. And the two bottom ones.
Oh, that was pretty easy, I'm not gonna lie. God, this is on there.
There you go. There we go. Bam. Here's the new one. You have to make sure you put the little rubber thingy on it.
The little spring.
The little spring, yeah. So here's the old one. We're just gonna clean up this guy real quick and then put the new one back on there. Alright, so we got the gasket maker on. You also have to put some gasket maker down here. down right here so that
Oil pan.
yeah, so the oil pan, it seals correctly right here. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back on and make sure that it's on there. Alright, so we got the rear main seal on. Now we're actually gonna focus on putting on the flywheel plate and the starter plate as well. So I gotta find the bolts, but this is an Evo 4 to Evo 9. They're all the same. So if you're gonna do this, you grab this from a dealer or like STM or somewhere online. But yeah, to put on the starter plate, you just need to make sure it attaches to these two holes right here. These will get attached to the transmission bolts itself, and then you also need 2 more bolts for the flywheel that are basically right on the edge right here. I don't know if you can see, but it's just 2 bolts and they'll be on. Alright, so we got them on. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the flywheel on. This is an OEM Evo 8 resurfaced flywheel. People usually recommend just to, you know, use the OEM is probably best. If you want to go with a lighter flywheel, then that's up to you, but this is what I'm using. So let's put this on real quick. Let me see. This is a competition stage 3 full clutch kit. So this comes with a pressure plate, the clutch itself, a throttle bearing, and the clutch alignment tool, which you're going to need as well. So we'll get to that right now. And we actually forgot, use Loctite on the flywheel bolts because you don't want these backing out on you. And then the torque specs for the flywheel is 98 pounds. And then the pressure plate to the flywheel itself is going to be 13 pounds of torque. Wow! This dude Carlos just tripped everything everywhere.
Hey.
Wow.
Got some Loctite on
You
there.
got some Loctite? Wow. It's not even my stand, bro. What are they gonna do? Alright, so we got the flywheel bolts on. Now we're gonna focus on the clutch. Yeah.
He's over here. God, this plastic is heavy duty.
It's heavy duty.
Oh,
You're holding it. Here you go.
there we go. Now
There you go.
See, this looks like it's lined up right now.
Is it? Not no more.
Smaller increments and crisscross.
You're right. Yeah, that's what they were saying too.
Because then it'll go uneven.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on it.
All right, so the competition stage 3 clutch is on. The engine's actually starting to look a lot more complete. As you can see, we've done pretty much everything to put it back together. We're gonna pull the alignment tool real quick, and then basically, well,
That pop.
not pop though. So yeah, it's pretty much ready. Of course, the only issue we ran into was putting the tensioner bolt back in. So we're probably gonna wait for lazy because we also weren't able to line this. Just see what's going on over here. So, but yeah, I'm pretty happy so far. So we'll see what happens. This is what we're about to deal with to get the thumbnail picture, guys. So just know, thumbnails ain't easy to do. It legit just started raining right now. That's freaking weird. But anyways, the engine is pretty much done. For the most part, we're actually gonna go ahead and start focusing on putting the brake booster first, because you do have to go through the inside and then pretty much attach it. It's a pain in the butt. Luckily, Carlos is really kind of small, so he'll be able to fit in there perfectly. So we'll start with that first and then see where we go.
Okay.
You good? Yeah, I can see you through here. Say hi. Oh, I can see you. Alright, so the master cylinder is already on. We're currently working on the brake booster. You have to make sure that the 4 bolts line up properly, and then you securely tighten them from the inside as well. So eventually in the next video, I'll actually start going into the fenders, probably put the fog lights on, and then we'll probably just start putting the engine inside and start attaching all the bolt-ons except for the wiring, because that's going to get a wire tuck. And then we also got to do the fluids, and then I got to get like miscellaneous parts like the transmission mount plate and stuff like that. So we'll see soon. Alright guys, so we're pretty much done for today. We did a lot of progress. We ended up getting the master cylinder, the brake reservoir, the brake booster on there. I got little miscellaneous little plugs and stuff on here. We ended up painting up the oil pan. We got the starter plates on there. We changed out the rear main seal. We got the flywheel on there, and we got the competition clutch and flywheel. Well, my bad. We got the Evo 8 flywheel, then we got the competition stage 3 clutch and pressure plate. We got the thermostat housing, the CIS sensor, the intake manifold on, which I do still have to get the plug so we don't have any vacuum leaks and stuff like that. What else did we do? We got the alternator on there with the power steering delete, which we're gonna work on next time. And for the actual next video, we're gonna go ahead and finish up the engine, put the brake lights on there, the clutch lines, put the engine in there, and then pretty much have it on there with a transfer case, and just basically be another step forward in the build. We're almost done. There's not much left. So huge thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Listen.